Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Today's video was a long time coming. We finally did it. Finally put boost on the 2013 Mustang GT. Based on the shirt you see I'm wearing, we went with a VMP Performance Supercharger Kit. Now, of course, there's a lot of supercharger kits on the market, and I even bounced back and forth between doing a turbocharger, but at the end of the day, I wanted something that was reliable and had a lot of support behind it, so we went with the VMP Performance Supercharger Kit. So this video is going to cover pretty much some basic install overview, some tech tips here and there, and of course, we ran this thing on the dyno to see what kind of power it's putting out. So let's go ahead and take a look at the installation process, and of course, see what kind of power it made on the dyno. The kit we're installing is the VMP Gen3R Supercharger Kit. This kit is their most up-to-date version of the Gen3R Supercharger Kit for 11 to 14 Mustang. This includes some revisions that we'll cover when we get to them in the install. Now, this being a TVS style supercharger with a front mount heat exchanger, you'll need to do a couple things, like remove the front bumper for the heat exchanger install, and of course remove your intake system. One of the only and probably the biggest modification you have to do is actually clearance the engine block for the intercooler / lower intake manifold. This is the only grinding you actually have to do with this updated kit. As you see here, we just used a power drill with a carbide bit. If you have a grinder, both will do the same thing. Many of the other install steps will be very similar to what VMP's YouTube videos will show. The one video on YouTube currently is for the 15 to 17 Mustang. However, many of the install steps will be identical, if not exactly the same, for the 11 to 14 cars. This piece here is actually from the most updated Odin kit, and it can be used for the Gen3R Supercharger kits. This is the no grind feed system for routing the belt to the supercharger. As you can see, it just bolts on to a couple places on the water pump and the engine block itself. Therefore, you don't have to grind your timing cover. A quick note in regards to mounting the heat exchanger. You have to remove the 4 bumper crash support bolts to mount the new heat exchanger with the supplied bolts. 2 of these bolts will actually be reused for the intercooler pump bracket because the bolts where they mount previously are too short, and you won't be able to thread on the nuts to secure it to the crash bar. So what you need to do is just reuse 2 of the bolts you removed from the crash bar to mount the heat exchanger, and therefore will give you the necessary length to be able to mount your intercooler pump bracket. Now, for 11 to 14 cars, you do have to install the IAT2 breakout harness. Now, VMP does have a specific video covering what you need to do to install this harness. It's actually very simple, but you will need to splice in a wire in the number 56 pinout and clear a spot in the harness, in the factory harness, for the number 36 pinout to install the new terminated pin. Therefore, when you log your car, it'll read IAT2. I highly recommend checking out the VMP Odin install for 11 to 14 Mustangs. It actually covers a lot of the similarities in regards to wiring and the intercooler pump and dual electric fan harness. Most importantly, it'll show you exactly where you need to plug in the inline portion of the harness to the back of the radial interference plug. On 11 to 14 cars, it's located on the passenger side rear of the cylinder head, whereas 15 to current cars are located behind the driver's side. VMP supplies a couple pieces of rubber hose to install the factory ends for the purge valve. It also comes with a brand new brake booster check valve that you could install on the back of the blower. Another side note or tech tip is when you're mounting the throttle body, don't over tighten the hardware. You could possibly squeeze out your throttle body gasket, which could cause vacuum leaks and really cause your car to wig out, especially during the tuning process. Rounding out my installation here, I actually installed a PMAS cold air kit and also finished it off with a billet UPR catch can. Okay, that finishes the basic install. Now it's time to load the tune, start sending logs back and forth, and get this thing tuned. Okay, that's going to wrap up this video here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. 655 real world horsepower. It's going to be a lot of fun on the street, and so I'm super happy with how this turned out. Sounds killer, runs great, and yeah, if you guys are looking for a supercharger kit for your 11 to 14 Mustang GT, definitely take a look at the VMP Performance Gen3R Supercharger Kit. You guys won't be disappointed. So if you like my content, please like, please share, and subscribe. Be sure to hit the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any new content coming to the channel. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.